Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. Hope that you're doing well today. Thank you for being here. The topic today is the art of listening and how it can perhaps help to deal with family stresses, family breakdown in communication. And I've got some ideas for you that might help you to approach a conversation with a little bit more self-awareness, and it may just lead to a better outcome if you're dealing with a challenging situation with a family or friend. You know, many of women in our 60andMe community are experiencing estrangement of some kind, separation from their children, their adult children, or from friends. As we've gotten older, things have changed. Our values perhaps have solidified or changed, and maybe we become a little less flexible in our thinking. But I think it's really important, if you're going to try to rebuild a bridge with someone, to actually approach the conversation in some very specific ways. There are things that you can do. Listening is the key to, getting a conversation going that is going to take you somewhere positive, and find a solution to the things that might be holding you back from, each other. It's all about giving yourself and the other person an opportunity to really speak what's on their mind honestly, but not to project onto them your own feelings, your own, value system or your own beliefs. I mean, it's really all about listening with an open heart and an open mind. And the importance of body language is another thing that's really, really important. Making eye contact, being able to, not lock yourself in a closed arm or sort of a cross-legged position where where it's clear that you're just not open to what is being heard and what is being said. So the language, okay, the verbal language to start with. I mean, that's all about listening to the words. And if you pay attention to this when you're in a conversation, and I do this, we all do it. We sit there listening to someone talking, and we're immediately starting to organize our response. We start thinking about what our response is going to be while they are talking. And the words that they're coming out of their mouth, we're not hearing them. We're just translating what we think they're saying, and we're putting it into a box so that we can then respond. I mean, I know I've done this, and I think in the business world, you tend to do it more because your conversations are debates that are kind of a win-lose situation. Like, you want to be superior in the things you say. You want to be the one that's winning the conversation. And I think when we're dealing with family members and friends, that it's important that we don't approach it that way, that we don't approach it like a win-lose. We just approach a conversation as a learn, a way to understand, a way to get closer and to a deeper understanding of what that person is saying, what they're feeling. So the verbal language is really important, and it's really important, I think, to let them know that you are going to be engaging in active dialogue, that you want to hear what they have to say, and to give some kind of a commitment at the beginning of the conversation. Let's just really try to listen to each other. Find the things that we agree on and the things that we have different views on. And then maybe we'll decide that our friendship, our family relationship is bigger than those things that are holding us, that are different in our perspectives, and that the things that we agree on are the ones that we are going, to move forward with. So I think if you can have that opportunity to sit down, and maybe this is not a verbal conversation, like a person-to-person conversation. This may be a phone conversation. That could be all that's happening at the time. But I think just to reinforce that first message I mentioned is that you are not just planning your response as you hear them speaking. You are listening to what they are saying, to the words and the energy and listen to the truth of what they're saying. It may not be your truth. It may not be your experience of what, the particular thing that you're discussing. But I think it's important that you just start with that. You're not there's no competition here. This is just an open discussion. The art of listening, not the art of speaking, not the art of arguing. It's the art of listening. One perspective that might be useful for you to think about is this concept of the growth mindset and the, is it called a fixed mindset? And this is something that actually, I can't think of the name of the woman that wrote the book on this, but there was a woman that wrote this because it's a business conversation where, in business, you're trying to innovate and make new decisions and move forward with things. And people often will have a closed mind, a fixed mindset, which is fixed around their beliefs, what they believe to be true, and not a growth mindset. So someone may come to you and say, I have a really great idea. This is in a business conversation. I have a really great idea. Why don't we do this? Or why don't we try this? and you immediately say, what, you don't be ridiculous. I mean, that's impossible. We haven't even got the money, or we haven't got the opportunities, or it's a mindset based on boundaries. Whereas saying, okay, let's think about that. And you know what, we could do this. And maybe if that was just a little bit different here, we could do that. And the word is and. You're building on rather than just negating. As soon as you say no to something, it's a verbal eraser. Like it's erased everything that's gone before. It's just saying, no, that's ridiculous. And I mean, a lot of women experience this, for example, when they try to do things in their 60s and older, where they say, I'm going to move to Italy. I want to move to Italy. And people go, well, you don't even speak Italian. And, other people that's a fixed mindset. And somebody else might say, oh, that's an interesting idea. You could get a little place in the country. You could start that new blog that you always want to do. And you always have loved Italian cooking. And it's just like, and even if you don't, even in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I don't think I would want to move to, and that's the whole point. It's like, I wouldn't want to do that, so you don't want to do that. That'd be ridiculous. So, you get the idea. It's like that fixed mindset is one that holds you back from listening, and and an open growth mindset is the one that helps you to, grow. One leads to defensiveness and barriers when you say no, and the other one leads to doors open, windows open, conversation moving forward rather than backwards. It's really important. Asking oneself questions before entering into a conversation is important. The art of listening is all about you knowing what your point of view is, but maybe realizing at the same time that it may not be the experience of the person that you're talking to. Now, if you're talking to a family member, and they haven't, maybe they don't want to speak with you, or they sort of set up some boundaries that you're not happy with, it's always important to know the why. The problem, of course, is that there's always so much emotion with this. The art of listening is always so tangled with things you've blocked out of your mind, experiences that adult child may have experienced that was something that harmed them or was difficult, or caused some boundaries. But you can't use your own defensiveness to not allow them to have their perspective, to have their point of view, and to listen. And I mean, it's okay to say you're sorry too, but maybe that sorry is not something that comes easy. So it's important to ask yourself and, know what the ground rules are as you're going into that conversation. I think it's important too that you emphasize the importance for them to establish boundaries. I mean, and for yourself to establish boundaries. I mean, there may be some things that you don't want to hear, that you cannot listen to, that are just, let's just not discuss that particular event. The wedding where everything went crazy, or the night that you did this and I said that. Let's kind of put a boundary around that, because that's going to take us further into not solving the conversation. It's going to help stop us from listening to each other, and I think that's really important. Is to create the boundaries that are going to make the conversation useful. The last thing I think is to be careful with yourself. Go into a conversation where you're going to be needing to listen, not argue, not talk back. Your only goal is to listen. I actually do this. I actually have to watch myself a lot on the phone, because some of my friends and family members are not next to me, so I have to just use the phone, or very rarely use Zoom or with family. I don't know why that isn't in my case, but we just talk, and it's really easy to just you're drinking your cup of tea, or you're talking and they're talking, to keep interrupting, to keep coming up with solutions. That's a good one. That's always a good one with with women, older women sometimes, is that you've got a solution. You've done that before. I know how to do that. Oh, fix this. I can do that. And they are not there. And not only do they not want your advice, but they actually have something to say. They have something to explain to you that could help move this whole relationship forward. So I think that's the message of this video, is to, go into a conversation with someone that you care about. It doesn't have to be a family member. It could be a friend. It could be someone who has a different view of you. And there's, heaven knows, enough of that going on in the world right now. The lines of demarcation are like left and right, black and white. It's really hard to soften the edges and just have a good chat, to practice the art of listening. So anyway, let's move forward, at least with some of these ideas. I hope they've given you some suggestions for how to have a good conversation and maybe build a bridge, albeit tenuous, between you and someone that you care about. And if you've got some ideas on this, please leave them in the comments section below. I really do value your opinions, and we're here to help each other. 60andMe is here to help. So if you like this video, please do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to receive notification when the new videos come up, just ring there's a little bell next to the subscribe word. And also, if you want to join our Patreon supporters group, this may be something of interest to you. It's a smaller community of about maybe 2,000, no, not even that, 1,200 people now. And it was, we have smaller groups that do live shows, and we have exclusive videos. And you get to meet other women, like in real life, but it's on the live show, and it's you're talking to each other, and people are getting together and traveling, and just enjoying getting to know each other. Coffee meetings all around the country and the world. And so anyway, just an idea is Patreon, if you want to join us, patreon.com/60andme. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to this conversation, and I send you all my love. Take good care.